Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's LinkedIn Loving, where we're shining a light on the world's leading B2B social media platform, that is LinkedIn. And today I'm delighted to be joined by brand coach and strategist Fliss Lee to talk about how to be known for the right thing on LinkedIn. So this is all about carving out a space that's all yours, that you own, and then communicating it clearly so you attract those lovely dream clients and also opportunities that you actually want. And now Fliss was actually instrumental in helping me do this when I was served a cease and desist letter from LinkedIn a couple of years ago about using the LinkedIn lady term in my marketing, which, I'm not meant to do, but I sometimes sneak it in. So I'm delighted, Fliss, that you joined us to help us understand how to communicate our USP clearly enough for our ideal clients to find us and to want to work with us. So welcome, Fliss. Hello.
Hi, Judy. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, I'm delighted you can join. I'm really excited to be talking about this. But just before we start, if anyone here is new to these LinkedIn Love-ins and they're wondering what the heck they are short, bite-sized LinkedIn learnings over lunch. And each month I'm joined by a guest expert to share their expertise on subjects that will help your LinkedIn activity and results. So I like to make them as interactive as possible. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments box on the event page, please, and we'll pass them on to Fliss and get her to give her wonderful answers. So I will have a little icebreaker for you. So, how confident are you about what you want to be known for, your USP? Do you feel 100% confident about what it is that you want to be known for? Yes, no answer would be fantastic. So let us know.
Yes, no, it's very hard.
Are you clear on what you want to be known for?
Yeah.
Well, it might be, or it might not be.
It's often a bit.
Possibly not.
Yeah.
But let's see what responses we get back. Fliss, that'll be interesting. So let's get started. Enough of me waffling. Let's get to Fliss. So we're talking about being known for the right thing. So did you want to just explain what you mean by
that? Yeah. Because it's we all want particular kind of work. We all have a great passion for doing something in particular, and I think it's the difference between being known for what you do and the difference. The difference is being known for what you do, as in the generic what you do, or being known for the stuff that you really want to be working. Whether it's a client type or a type of work you do. So I'll give you an example. My accountant, Tom Crompton, he's a big on LinkedIn. He is an accountant for creatives. So he could just be known as an accountant, a generic accountant, but what he's known for is being an accountant for creatives. They give really good, clear, real life and easy to understand advice for creatives, because as creative types, we often switch off when it comes to finances. We don't, accountancy is really confusing, but actually being known for understanding your finances as a creative is crucial, and they really specialize in helping creatives to feel confident in their money and their accounts. So that's kind of the difference. It's he could just be known as a generic accountant, or what he's actually known for is for creatives.
Yes.
So that's a bit of a long-winded answer there, Judy, but I hope that
I really like that, Fliss, and I get it. But I think it's more than just, well, I'm going to say niching to an industry, isn't it?
Yeah. So your USP and your niche, it could be an industry. So like Tom's a really good example of like a type of client. But for example, I am known for coaching and how I work. So it's not necessarily an industry. It could be how you work or what you kind of specialize in particularly. So it's not just niching's a bit of a complicated one, isn't it? Because people get a bit tied up when it comes to niching. Oh, I need to be specific to an industry. You don't. It's kind of the stuff that you really love doing, and the stuff that think about the things that you could talk hours about. For you, Judy, it'd be LinkedIn. The stuff that you really kind of get passionate about, the things that you want to be doing, and the things that you want people coming to you for, whether it's how you work, who you work with, multiple different things.
I love that. One of the things we talked about that you really highlighted what that meant for me is you said that you work with people with creative minds.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily you work with creatives. So you mentioned that you're working with a lawyer at the moment, which normally wouldn't be perceived as a creative, but they have a creative mind.
For me, my thing is it's kind of how I work and who I work with, but it's more how their minds work, and that links to how I work. So creatives, creative minds, creative thinkers, we perhaps want to work in a slightly different way. Standard linear advice doesn't always work because we like to explore different things. And the way I work as a coach helps me to support people to explore their own way of doing things, which really works well for creative minds. And so that's whether it's doesn't have to be a creative person, a creative industry person. It can be, so many people have creative minds.
And I think that for me is key, because I always thought it was about being something for a particular industry. Yeah. And it's not just defining it by industry. It's defining it in different ways, like how you do something. So you could have a special branded way of doing something, or you work with people with a certain time. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily always come overnight. I know people that feel like they don't want to necessarily pick a thing they want to be known for because they might not know it yet. And I will be honest with you, Judy, I've worked with creatives for years now. I've attracted them probably because of my background as a designer, but I never really hung my hat on going, I work with creatives and creative minds. I never said that until sort of the beginning of this year. I'd been doing a lot of work, and I'd kind of hit on it and gone, why am I not saying that? I just found it naturally. I came into it, and it was a case of looking at what I really enjoyed. So it does take a lot of time to sometimes find that thing you want to be known for. And narrowing it down over time as well, and changing it. You might change what you fancy doing. As I said, I used to be a designer and then found a new thing. So sometimes it can be you have to go back and revisit things a little bit. Yeah.
I'm also having a little chuckle here, Fliss, because our sort of question that we said, how confident are you that if you're what you want to be known for, and you said quite rightly, I'm not sure if it is a yes or no answer, and actually you're right, because we've got not fully some Amy, another person 50-50. Warwick is 8 out of 10, 80% confident, which is great. Yeah. So there is a lot of partlys and things like that. So I thought that was quite interesting. You're right, it wasn't a yes no question. So thank you for everybody for replying to that question. Okay, so now we know what we mean by the right thing. Why is it important? Why is it? What's the benefit of actually knowing what that thing we want to be known for is?
There's so many benefits. I think the first benefit is enjoying what you do, having a business that you love and doing work that you really love to do. I when I was a designer, I could have just done any kind of design work, but I focused on brand and doing the work I absolutely love to do. Because if you're just getting anything come your way, I think you can end up feeling like your business is a bit of a chore, and you're not doing the stuff that you really want to be doing. So that, for me, that's the first crucial thing that you should be reason why you should be thinking about what you want to be known for, really. And also, it's about being specific. For me, when you hone in on how to talk about what you really want to be known for, being found for the right thing is what the title of this chat is all about. That's precisely it. It's about people knowing what you do and coming to you for you. So yeah, being specific. It's got so many benefits, being specific. It really has.
Yeah, that clarity of what you want to be known for. Exactly. So in your experience then, because obviously you work with people to help them, because this is what you did with me, how do I articulate what I want to be known for and what I do now? I can't actually go in and say the LinkedIn lady as such. Why is it people struggle to actually articulate what they want to be known for? What is it? Because I think for me, if it's because I'm so in my business, I couldn't see the wood for the trees, as it were.
Yeah. That is a huge thing. I get support on my own brand work because you're such an expert at what you do that you want to tell people everything, and often telling people everything just bamboozles people, doesn't it? and often we actually just need to be really clear and say a few things, but in a way that relates to your audience. So yes, we are all very close to our business, and that can be a bit, we hold everything in our head, which is a lot sometimes. So having someone to talk it out with or figure it out with in some way is really important, because people see things in a different way, and often we need to reflect that back. And I think there's another challenge that we all struggle with traditionally in marketing, and this is a little bugbear of mine that I've experienced when I was employed. Traditionally, marketing, the narrative has been around telling people what you do, but actually telling people what you do isn't necessarily a benefit, because if you think about it, if I'm going to go back to Tom, my accountant, if he said, I'm an accountant, I do accounts, he'd get anyone coming to him. But when you start talking about why you do it, and kind of your way of doing it, you start to be more specific around how you work and who you work. I think it can be really difficult to get stuck in the trenches of talking about what you do, and actually that doesn't really highlight the value of it to your customers as well.
I think that's a really, really good point, isn't it? And it's like, that's Simon Sinek, isn't it? Start with why. Yeah. Why do you want to do what you want to do? But my kind of kickback with that that's great, but it doesn't necessarily. I always think that means it's got to be a big why, like I want to save the world or something.
Yeah, like Patagonia. Why? No, doesn't.
What's their why, Fliss? Explain what their why is, just as an example.
Okay, so Patagonia, they say we are in business to save the world, and we will basically not stop them. I mean, that's probably the biggest why you could probably have.
Exactly.
So that's what you.
That's a big why. That's a very, very big why. Yeah.
That's a big why, and you know what? That's talking to their audience. But your why doesn't have to be that huge. It can be basically why you started your business. And I guess I'm going to give another example will be useful here. I've got quite a few clients who started their business to work flexibly around their family and to give them that kind of balance and be able to be there for the kids and et cetera, et cetera. And that's really attracted their audience, because they've then connected and had similar values with people who have families, and it's like shared values. I can give you an example. Lucy Critchley, she does this. She started her business. She started a business when her daughter was 5 months old, because to enable her to have that. To be able to work and do something she loves, but in a way around her daughter. And she works with, parenting brands and birth brands, and she's got that those shared values there. So it can really, finding your why can be something as simple as why you started your business, not necessarily what you're trying to do for your customers. And then you find that kind of shared connection with people, and that's what attracts the right people to you.
Yeah, and I love that, because, you know, for me, when I first heard this, you know, what's your why? And I'm thinking, I need to have something amazing. I'm like, I don't have an amazing why, but it's not why do I do what I do, because I want the flexibility of being able to work for myself when I'm not having to explain myself to somebody else. You know, so I will attract people who, as you say, have those similar values. So it is about understanding the why and your values and what's important to you to help you attract the people who have the same values.
Yeah, and sometimes also it's your experience as well. What you've experienced can be your why, you know, how you've got to where you are, and those experiences that have shaped you, and what you believe about your industry as well, which I think very much ties into why you do what you do now, Judy, on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think that's so important. It's your story, isn't it? I do talk about people when I speak to people. I ask them, so why do you do what you do? What's the story? You know, there's got to be a reason. Like for you, Phyllis, why do you do what you do? How did you start? You didn't just wake up one day and, I'm going to be a brand strategist. You know, there'll be a reason behind it, isn't there, as to why you do what you do?
Yeah, I mean, my reason is I was a designer, and I loved understanding why we were doing things and communicating to people about kind of what the purpose of the design was. And over my career, I've kind of fell into the more strategic side, and it took quite a while. And then I started coaching by people came to me and said, I want to do my marketing, but I don't know what my message is. So I helped them pull it out of their head, and actually that's when things really clicked into place for me. Things that didn't make sense in my career, because for me, I started my business because I wanted that flexibility and freedom to do things my way. And actually what I found in coaching people was I was helping them to kind of really see the value of what they do and shape a business that suited them and fitted around them. And that was that kind of all fit together beautifully, because that's what I was trying to do for myself. And then I started supporting other people to do it. And my why kind of just made complete sense suddenly, which was amazing.
And do you know, and I love that, because that's almost, so that, again, going back to people to try and articulate and understand what they want to be known for, actually being your ideal client can help you attract those ideal clients, can't you? Because you've been there, done it, got the t-shirt, as it were.
Definitely, that often is the case. You know, you understand them because you feel what they felt. It's not just about, you know, cold hard cash, is it? It's about feelings involved in your business and the emotional side of things, which is important in marketing. People do buy with their feelings, you know, not everybody, but there's an element of feelings in there. So really being able to empathize and really understand kind of what they're trying to achieve, the outcome, the transformation that they're trying to have, and trying to really connect with that is really important.
Yeah, I love that. And people do buy on emotion first, don't they? Because they will make a decision on emotion first and then logically go back and justify that decision. So I guess if you demonstrate that you actually, by the thing that you stand for, you're demonstrating to your clients that you understand them.
Yeah.
And they can go, oh, this person understands me and stuff. So
yeah, and I think when you're really passionate about something, you naturally talk about, you've naturally got ideas of things to talk about because you really know what you're talking about and why you're talking about it. And it helps you to have that kind of consistent, coherent message, and for people to come to you for that thing that you're always talking about. So you're always talking about this thing that you're absolutely passionate about. And it comes across so much more authentically when you really love it.
And there's that word, authentic, again. It's all about being authentic, isn't it? Because you'll feel it in yourself, and then your ideal clients will also feel it from you as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Okay, so we've looked at, you know, why people struggle to articulate it. finally defined or had a go at defining what they want to be known for. And as you say, it doesn't have to be fixed in stone straight away, does it? They can let it evolve and sit with them.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. So saying that, how do we communicate that on LinkedIn? How do we go forward and communicate? Actually, I do apologize, Fliss. Sorry, I've got a question, because I was going to say any questions for Fliss, and I've got one from Kate here.
Great.
So let's just answer this one from Kate first. So Kate's been a translator for the past 10 years. I know what I do, but struggle with trying to explain how my services can benefit clients. Maybe due to never completing an MBA or other such courses focused on running a business. Is this something that you come across, that people feel like they need a qualification to justify themselves?
I mean, I will always say, I think running a business is actually common sense. And my very first business coach taught me that. When it comes to explaining how your services can benefit clients, I haven't looked at how Kate does it. There is a common thing that I see people doing, and that I have worked with people on kind of flipping the narrative a little bit. And this is where we get back into the emotional side of things, Julie. Going back to what we said at the beginning about people often, you go into talking about what they do in terms of what they do, not why they do it. So what I've seen, and even when I worked in house, I worked at Mamas and Papas for years. I had a constant battle between marketing, like, put the features and benefits in there. I'm like, we need to talk about why those features and benefits are important, what those features and benefits enable them to do. Like, tell them there's a cup holder. Why does a parent need a cup holder? You know, to hold your coffee with and you're pushing the thing with one hand, you can't balance your coffee and things. It's the emotional side of things. So often when I'm working with clients and on their services, I'll get you to flip how you talk about your services. So it's not the ins and outs of what you do. That should come last. People don't really care. Sorry, people don't care about what you do. They care about why they need the service and what that's going to do for them. So if you can start to flip talking about what you do in terms of how it's going to make a difference to them, how it's going to, change their life, change their business, change their time, change their headspace, because that's what they really want. And then you talk about what you do as and we just happen to do it like this. Judy mentioned Simon Sinek, his TED Talk on Start With Why. He explains that beautifully. Talk about what you do last. Talk about why you do it first, and the benefit.
I love that. Yeah. It's why do you, and that's just been a bit of a light bulb for me, actually, to go back and look at because we're going to come on. So we now know what we want to be known for. How do we communicate that on LinkedIn? Not just on LinkedIn, but because this is LinkedIn Love and it's going to be LinkedIn. But it's like, for me, it's like, okay, when I look at what I offer, do I actually explain why somebody would need it? And I'm actually thinking, I don't know if I do. I think that's a real light bulb for me, actually. I think that's going to be the key takeaway for me of this thing.
And Judy,
so how do you go about community? Oh, sorry. Yes.
I was just going to say, and you'll need to revisit that all the time. We've done that in the past, but every so often you'll want to go back and relook at that because it shifts and changes and people's wants and needs change. So just tweaking things is really important. And like what you fancy doing changes. Like I've recently redone that for myself because I got a bit woolly there. I shifted things a little bit in my business and my messaging got a bit woolly and I didn't know what to talk about. I was like, so I had to go back and redo that for myself to get a bit more clarity on how to talk about what I do.
That is so interesting, exactly, isn't it? And I think this goes back to, don't worry about it being perfect because it can evolve and change and adapt. Just, it's about, if you think about the why somebody would need, just that, when we say you talk about the why, but this is, for me, the light bulb is why someone would need that service. That for me. So why does somebody want this? Why does somebody want LinkedIn training? So it's then it makes you go, well, what's it going to do for them? Exactly. And I think that question helped for me. It's just been like, oh, I really like that. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Right. So how do we go about communicating it once we've done it, our thing, once we know what we want to be known for?
Yeah. So I guess there's first of all, if you're struggling with your why, that there's that age old, when I feel like a petulant child a lot when I'm working with my clients, because I'm always going, but why? And people who've worked with me will have like a sly grin on their face because we're like, this is saying why again. But you want to constantly be asking yourself why or so what until you kind of get to the crux of the matter, and then once you've got to that crux of the matter, it's like, how on earth do I communicate that? And I always think that you want to try and get to 3 to 4 themes, because then basically, if you can be talking about the same thing coherently constantly, that's what people know you for. And I always like to say, if you're boring yourself with your content, I don't mean boring yourself that your content's boring. It's more that you feel like you're constantly saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. You kind of got onto the right lines, because you're repeating the same things all the time, and they should be the things you really want to be known for. So you want to kind of try and get to 3 themes. And there's a few ways you can get to those 3 themes. I love to do a bit of a brain dump around your why. What are all the things you can be talking about with that? Another thing I find really useful is to go to client reviews, feedback, what things people have said to you or things people are always saying to you, and just put each different one on a Post-it note, and then you can move those Post-it notes around and group them into themes. And I've done this loads of times with people, and it's amazing how loads and loads and loads of different things just correlate down into 3 themes. Usually there's always kind of just a very small handful of things that you help people with. So I'll give you an example of mine. So I worked on my messaging last year with Gina Buckle. She helped me pull it all out of my head. And the 3 themes basically that I talk about are enjoying your business, having enjoyment, and that doesn't just mean like being able to live the life you want to live. It also means enjoying running your business, loving growing it and building it. So there's enjoyment as a theme. There's momentum as a theme. So how to just steadily keep moving things, inching things forward and growing that momentum, and actually, rather than just feeling, I don't know where to start, knowing where to start, knowing what your next move is. And then the third theme is all around self-agency. So it's about having the confidence to do what you do, but also having the confidence and the conviction in your value and knowing what you want to talk about. So I take those 3 themes whenever I'm doing anything, and I look at what are all the things I can talk about relating to these 3 themes. And there's a lot. There's a lot. So you will never run out of ideas. But they're a really good starting point, because they stem from my why. And if you can get those 3 themes, you know that you're kind of talking about all the things that you need to be talking about. So yeah, always start with 3 things. And when it comes to content, you could say, right, today I'm going to do a post on enjoyment. Friday I'm going to do a post on momentum. You could do it like that. So you can also use them a bit like content pillars that a lot of people use.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a great way to create content, isn't it? But I think the other thing is about not getting too hung up on that name. So you've got lovely like enjoyment and things like that.
Yeah. I think it's everyone always wants to have a really nice tagline or some really strong messaging, especially when it comes to your why, like your brand vision. These big brands spend an awful lot of money trying to get their vision, IKEA's is a better everyday life for the many people, but don't get hung up on that. I always say, as long as you know the essence of what you're trying to do and what you want to be known for, you will have ideas, and over time it will come. I didn't find the right wording for my own vision for quite a few years, and I got help from my friend Gemma, who's a copywriter, and she knows my business inside out too, and it took us a good couple of years probably to hit on the exact wording. So it doesn't matter that you've not got these beautiful taglines. You can still create content and talk about so many different things that are exactly what you want to be known for without having perfect taglines.
Yeah, I really like that, and I think that's a good place to actually end it, because for me, it's, you know, you can get too hung up on having this on being perfect, can't you, and stuff like that. And I think sometimes is, you know, for me, sometimes good enough is good enough to help you move forward, and those words, and as you say, working with other people can actually help you articulate it at some point going forward. But you also have a freebie, Fliss, for people, 25 small things they can do to work on their brand. So if anybody just want to do some work on their brand, go to Fliss's website. We'll put the link in the comments. Download her freebie and have a go at that. I'm sure there'll be lots of fabulous tips there to help you if you're struggling with your brand. Yes. And that just leads me to say thank you very much, Fliss, for joining me today.
It's been an absolute joy. Thanks for having me, Judy.
Oh, it's been great. I loved it. And I love it when I get those light bulb moments. I'm going, oh! So thank you so much indeed. And thank you for everybody for joining us today. If you've got any more questions for Fliss, please do put them in the comments box on the event page. And Fliss and I will get to them and answer them for you. Or please do connect directly with Fliss and ask her your question to her directly.
I'd love that.
So thank you very much. Bye for now.
Thank you.